Okay, so this video was sort of on plan, but I want to get it out there because I think it's very similar, or there's echoes at least of what happened last year in England. Um, I will try and get around to making a video on the situation in Los Angeles as I see it, um, but I'm still reading some of the coverage of that. So I'm going to be talking here about something much closer to home. Um, It's been a busy news day. There's been a mass shooting in Austria today in the city of Graz. Not shocking for that small country. It comes after the mass shooting in Sweden earlier this year. Europe is not immune from that. So that's I imagine there's going to be some soul searching in Austria about what were the circumstances that led to that. And like I say, the situation in Los Angeles is a big story. Um, my girlfriend's there at the moment, so I have some concern about that. But I want to talk about the situation in Ballymena. Now, I have to emphasize that I don't know all the details of what's transpired, but I am absolutely adamant that violence and rioting has no justification. So, what's transpired apparently is that a teenage girl was sexually assaulted, and two 15-year-old boys were arrested on suspicion of that, and they are reported as being Romanian nationals. Well, the mob got out in force, and they've been setting fire to vehicles. They've been attacking homes. At least 15 police service of Northern Ireland officers have been injured. They've been throwing pieces of concrete. Some very ugly scenes. Here's the bit that really gets me. The rioters, and I'm calling them what they are, they're not protesters, they're rioters. They think that they're standing up for the teenage girl, and I'm sure they are genuinely angry about that. That's a serious crime, and the perpetrator should be punished by due process. But what I find disgusting and pathetic is the fact that they think they're standing up for this girl, and yet they're terrorizing children in those houses. In one case, a family was reported to have had to barricade themselves inside with children. So if you support that, you're no better than the rapists. I think this is troubling. Ballymena has always been a rough town, and Northern Ireland and riots is almost goes hand in hand. But it sounds similar to what happened in Southport last year, and as we know, that spread across England. Here in Sunderland, a woman had her car burned. She'd went to go shopping, and she had her car burned. I um I have no patience with the argument that because people are angry, that justifies mindless thuggery and violence. Of course, people have a right to be angry if they feel their daughters are under threat. More than angry, they have a right to demand justice. Politicians have to listen to that. They have to act on it. And mass immigration is a legitimate concern. But nothing justifies burning homes. I am disgusted by that. And I'm disgusted by the knuckle draggers who are. I actually came across this on the Times of India video, as opposed to any British coverage. But maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe it should be covered more. But there's a lot going on in the news at the moment. But I hope it doesn't spread. But people who are trying to set homes on fire, I hope they're charged with attempted murder. It's disgusting, and it's a very mob mentality is a very very ugly thing. Now, I'm not living in a bubble. When people hear that teenage girls are attacked, obviously that's awful. They're going to be angry, and they have a right to demand justice. They have a right to peacefully protest. But I don't care what anyone says. There's no justification terrorizing people in homes. That's barbaric, and it's not going to help anyone. How do you help society? How do you how do you help stand up to foreigners as they would see it by setting fire to your own community? That makes no sense. So I'm with the police service of Northern Ireland 100%. I hope they can contain the situation. I hope none of their officers face serious injury, and I hope the families who are being terrorized, um, I'm sympathetic to them, and of course I'm sympathetic to the teenage girl who was allegedly raped. That's another point. It's an alleged crime. I don't know whether it actually happened or not. Maybe it did. If it did, the perpetrators should be punished absolutely. But it's this disregard for any sense of due process, just mindless mob mentality. It's a very, very dangerous thing. But I also think in these situations, and same with what happened in England last year, there are thugs who will use any excuse for violence. I mean, if a local had done this, the like I say, two Romanian teenagers were arrested, and that, by the way, is being reported mainstream sources. I'm not just recklessly spreading rumors with that. Um, if that had been a local, would they be out like a lynch mob? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but I do think there's unquestionably a racist component whereby perception that outsiders are committing crime, and maybe some do. Right? There's definitely people that should not be in this country, but it really disgusts me that people think it's okay to act in that way, to terrorize people in a house, to literally threaten someone's life over allegations and over rumors. It's a barbaric mob mindset. And innocent people get hurt. That's what enrages me about it. I mean, innocent people get hurt. So yeah, I'm with the police service of Northern Ireland 100%. I hope they can control the situation. I hope the young girl who was allegedly raped, if that did indeed happen, I hope she gets justice. I hope the perpetrators are robustly punished. I also think on the issue of immigration, if you have an influx into an area that has social deprivation, that is going to fuel tensions. Ballymena is a town that's long had social problems. It was once described as the drug capital of the British Isles. You know, my mum's side of the family come from that town, and it has social problems. So if there is a big influx of immigrants there, then that breeds problems in terms of tensions. If it's disproportionate, Ballymena is not a huge place, so um, those sort of things, it doesn't come out of nothing. But I'm just disgusted that people think it's okay to justify this behaviour. Um, I mean, all they're doing is destroying their own town. It's not protest, it's rioting. That's how I feel about it.